Hey everybody, I'm Not Great, and welcome to this review of the game Death's Door from developer Acid Nerve. It's a fun little game I just wrapped up. I'm probably going to drop this before the last episodes pop. It's fine, I'm not going to spoil anything for you. But if you're wondering whether or not you should buy and or play this game, well, maybe I can help you out. So let's start with a quick game summary. This is an action-adventure RPG. I think technically it might fall under the category of a Souls-like, but I would not put it there. It's just got a nice little bit of challenge to it. It's a very pretty game, and the aesthetic is really nice. It's kind of a calm and chill, but at the same time, things can get frantic in places. It's like Zelda, but with a heavier tone to it, I guess you could say. Quick feelings on the game is chill, but not too chill, and there are some nice puzzles to go through. I enjoyed most of the puzzles. Graphic-wise, you've got some soft lines, some smooth textures, pretty simple animations, but they all flow together fairly smoothly. Now this is an isometric kind of, not top-down, but coming in from an angle type of game, and so most of the objects are rendered in 3D or close to 3D, but you're only ever seeing it from one or maybe more than one angle if you find some of the secrets in the game. Sound-wise, you've got some good atmospheric music that goes with it. Music is nice, sound effects are pretty cut and dry, straightforward, it's what you need to get the job done. My complaint with the sound is that the background music was normalized too high in the game, so one of the first things I ended up having to do was go into settings, get the music slider, and set it all the way down to either 1 or 2 from like 10 or whatever the maximum is. I had to put it down pretty low for recording purposes and also so I could hear everything else that was happening in the game. For me, it worked better that way. To each their own. You may decide that you want to crank it full blast. That's up to you. For me, I needed to crank it down. Gameplay-wise, combat is pretty simple here. It's, what's the best way to describe it? You've got one button for attack, you've got one button for a heavy attack, which I hardly ever use. You've got your special abilities, you've got your dodge roll, and that's pretty much it. Like, there's a little bit of depth in how things go with using your abilities and aiming and being able to hold down a button and kind of pivot in place to be able to reflect projectiles or to aim your special attacks. But there's nothing super shiny here. It's a pretty standard action-adventure game with RPG elements, and there's nothing wrong with that. But we're not breaking any boxes. Some of my favorite moments of the game, the boss fights. The boss fights, for the most part, took me a couple of tries, and in some instances like 3 or 4 or 5 tries. They have pretty set patterns that develop throughout the boss fight, and learning those takes a little bit of time, and then not just learning what the patterns are, but getting the muscle memory to be able to react to the different telegraphed moves that the bosses do, or anticipating the moves that they don't telegraph was a lot of fun. There are also challenge runs or challenge sections in the game where you have to run a short gauntlet of 3 or 4 different waves of enemies, and those were a lot of fun as well. Also, getting the special items for the game, I'm not gonna spoil it, but getting the special items for the game was an experience. Least favorite moments. Combat gets a little repetitive. And also, if you're looking for one secret final thing, it can be frustrating, especially in an isometric where things can be kind of hidden behind other things. But once you get the hang of it, it makes the game a lot of fun. It can still be frustrating, but there are different NPCs in the game that will give you different hints to find different things, and that's a huge help whenever you start getting close to the end game. Overall, Death's Door from Acid Nerve, I think I would give it about a 3.5 out of 5, maybe bordering on a 4, but not quite. I enjoyed the game a lot. It was a relatively short experience, but for my money and for my channel, I think it was a hit. So go out there, see if you can pick yourself up a copy. If isometric action-adventure games with RPG elements and kind of an irreverent storyline are something that you like, with kind of a, not a dark, but definitely a dark gray undertone, definitely go for this game. It's not going to be like the star of your library, but it's definitely worth picking up. And that's all I got for this one. Thank you all for watching. I hope to see you in this series and many others, and I do hope you have a good one.